Hello everyone, my name is Arashdeep Singh and I'm going to provide you a view of this presentation which explores how young children develop thinking and learning skills. The title is Understanding Cognitive Development, a case study analysis through Piaget and Vygotsky's lens. The discussion draws on two well-established theories of child development, those of Piaget and Vygotsky. To examine how each framework explains children's cognitive growth, these theoretical perspectives are applied to two real-world case studies, Liam and Zara, whose everyday play and problem-solving behavior illustrate the interplay between independent exploration and guided learning. The next slide is about the introduction. The children in the early years develop cognitive abilities through everyday experiences such as play, language use, observation, and problem solving. These interactions support the development of fundamental thinking skills. The theory of Piaget and Vygotsky offer value insights into the process of intellectual growth during early childhood. Piaget emphasized independent exploration as a key driver of development, whereas Vygotsky focused on the importance of social interaction and guided learning. This presentation examines the cognitive development of two young learners, Liam and Sarah. Their behaviors are analyzed through the lens of conversation, private speech, scaffolding, highlighting how theoretical concepts manifest in practice. The role of educator in supporting each child's unique development needs is also explored. The next slide is about the overview of Piaget theory. Piaget believed that the children learn by doing, by interacting with people and objects around them. He said children don't just understand observed effects, they build their own understanding step by step. Piaget has outlined four main stages of cognitive development. The sensory motor stage, which is word to two, babies learn through movement and senses. In the pre-operational stage, between 2 to 7, children use symbols and language, but their thinking is not yet logical. The concrete operational stage 7 to 11 brings more logical organized thinking. Finally, the formal operational stage, which is 11 plus, allows for abstract thinking and reasoning. Each stage shows a new way of understanding the world. The next stage is about the overview of Vygotsky's theory. Vygotsky believed that children learn best through interaction with others and through their culture. They introduced the idea of zone of proximal development, which is the gap between what a child can be alone and what they can do with the guidance. A more knowledgeable other, like a teacher or peer, helps the child learn by offering support called scaffolding, which is showing slowly reduce the child becomes more capable. Language is very much important. It starts as social speech, then becomes private speech, and then later turns into inner thoughts. Vygotsky saw thinking something built through social experiences. The next slide is Liam's learning. Through their observation, Liam is 4 years old and enjoys hands-on play, water, sand, and building. He is very curious and loves testing ideas. For example, when pouring water into different containers, he focuses only on the height to decide which has one more. He often uses words like more or less, showing he's starting to compare. Later, he begins to notice that taller doesn't mean always it tricks you. In sand, in sand play, he discovers the bigger scoops needs more turns. His learning allows active thinking, trial and error, and a grow ability to reflect. The next slide is about Liam's Piagetian analysis. Liam's repeated volume task reveal classic centration at 4 years old and focuses on height over quantity. Piaget describes when asked by one container seems more, he initially applies his existing schema. However, encountering contradictory evidence prompts accommodation, he adjusts mental structure to explain why taller needs not to be more. His tentative statement, it looks taller, but maybe it's not more, signals this shift towards decentration. Over successive trials, equilibration drives him from pre-operational to early concrete operations reasoning, yet it is important to note that Piaget's literary discovery model may underplay social and cultural influences these schema refinements. In the next slide, I'm going to talk about Liam's Vygotsky analysis. Initially, Liam constructs spontaneous evolving concepts through personal exploration. As an adult or peer strategies, these scaffolded interactions expand the zone of proximal development, which is called ZPD. Moving the edge of his independent problem-solving prop, his remark, it tricks you. First echoes you adjust reasoning, then transform into self-directed logic. Evidence of internalizing called tools. With each session, external prompts fade and Liam properties verbal and symbolic means illustrate Vygotsky's dynamic synamic system. The next slide, I'm going to talk about Zara's learning. Zara is 5.5 and shows defocus during independent tasks. She often talks to herself while solving puzzles, which helps her stay focused and think through each step. She uses more English and Somali in her self-talk, showing comfort with both languages. Even when a task is interrupted, she calmly restarts, showing resilience and self-control. During REM play, she tests adjusts material like little scientists. Her drawing and quiet storytelling show imagination and bravery. Zara prefers hands-on tasks and quiet spaces. Her learning is thoughtful, persistence shows growing confidence in her abilities. The next slide I'm going to talk about Zara's position analysis. During puzzle tasks, Zara's audible private speech demonstrates Piaget's notion that egocentric talk graduates becomes internal thought. As she tests REMs, she uses trial and error to build more accurate mental model of physical laws. Each correction reflects the combination of new information. Her ability to sort of pieces by both shape and angle shows decentration and the emergence of logical reasoning. Core feature of concentrate operational thought, continued self-talk guided her strategy and reflection. However, Piaget's theory may underestimate how interactions with caregivers and peers could support or accelerate this schema adaptation. The next slide is about Zara's Vygotsky analysis. Zara's bilingual private speech illustrates Vygotsky's view that language acts like as a primary culture or tool for thought regulation. She shifts between Somali and English to plan actions and control errors, showing internalization of social dialogue. With minimum prompting, she operates in her upper ZPD, tackling more complex tasks independently. This code switches reflects flexible use of cultural resources to construct and adopt cognitive schemas. Observing her monkey tail metaphor along with cultural strategies reveal how spontaneously ideas merge with scaffolding methods. Embodying Vygotsky's dynamic schemas, this process undergoes the social foundation of cognitive development, constructing with Piaget's emphasis on solitary schema. The next slide, I'm going to talk about the educator's role in Liam's case. Liam's educator plays a key role in supporting his cognitive development. She creates a rich hands-on development environment with material like water, sand, and blocks that invite curiosity and exploration. Instead of giving direct answers, she uses open-minded questions like "What are you working on?" to encourage Liam to think for himself. Her scaffolding is subtle. She guides and extends his learning without interrupting his process. By observing and documenting his play, she tailors her sport to his leads. This kind of environment fosters trial and error learning, helps Liam build understanding through active discovery and self-revelation. Next case is the educator's role in Zara's case. Zara's educator supports her learning in a quiet and thoughtful way. She gives Zara the time and space work through puzzle and STEM tasks independently, which encourage the use of private speech, an important tool of problem solving. This kind of low pressure environment helps Zara focus and build confidence. The educator also promotes peer collaboration and gender dialogue, helps Zara grow within her zone and proximal development. She doesn't take over Zara's learning but offers support when needed. This careful guidance strengthens our thinking and resilience, showing how sensitive, well-timed sport can lead to deeper cognitive development. The next slide, I'm going to compare the educator's role. Both educator approaches clearly aligned with the current education research. They both use scaffolding effectively, stepping into guide or model only needed. without interrupting the child's natural learning process. They also encourage independent thinking by asking open ended questions and allowing space for private speech. The environments they create are calm and cooperative, which helps children explore and build confidence and self regulate. So, both educators observe carefully and respond to a child's unique learning needs. The next slide, I'm going to talk about the comparative framework. Liam's teachers offer rich hands on materials and gentle prompts, adjusting sport by observation. Zara's teachers provide calm spaces, encourages private speech, reflect dialogue, and tailored guidance for deep and self-regulated learning. And the last, I'm going to conclude my presentation with the last part, which is the conclusion part. So, the cognitive development in early childhood occurs through both independent exploration and guided learning. The behavior of Liam and Zara illustrate key aspects of both Piaget and Vygotsky's theories. Liam demonstrated early logical thinking by engaging with concepts such as volume and comparison through play-based activities. Zara applied private speech and self-directed strategies to solve problems, supporting her focus and persistence. Piaget's theory provides insight into their stage-based cognitive development, while Vygotsky's social cultural perspective highlights the role of social interaction as scaffolding, which is a fostering growth. So the both cases educated support development of by offering time, space, and interaction prompts to encourage deep thinking and learning. So uh, thank you so much for listening. Thank you.